Hello and welcome back to my channel, The Book Nerd, or welcome to my channel if you're here for the first time. My name is Denise, and again, I am The Book Nerd. And if you are new to this channel, please make sure before you leave and after you watch this video that you please like and subscribe and tell others about it, share it, and I would love to see you back on this channel. And make sure that you comment as well. I'd love to hear your thoughts on things that I talk about. So today what I'm going to be talking about are the books that I read in November. And I had a good reading month for me. All the books that I read I did enjoy. And so let's get started. The first book that I want to talk about is How to Sell a Haunted House. And this book is by Grady Hendrix. And I brought this book up probably a couple of times. It took me a long time to start reading it because I was scared to read it. We moved into a new house and I just didn't want to read it and get scared of my own house. I've already got enough things to be scared of, just being in a new place and everything. So I was worried about reading it, but finally, and I started this book in October and then finished it in November, and it did not disappoint. So I think I gave this book 4 stars, like on Goodreads. It is a good horror book, a horror story. So if you like horror and if you're a fan of Grady Hendrix, I really encourage you to read it. So what the book is about, it's about a brother and sister, Louise and Mark, and they're like estranged. So they don't really get along. They haven't seen each other in a long time. But they're having to come back to, I believe it's South Carolina, because their parents, Mark was already there. So, but Louise had to come back, and their parents had passed away. So something happened to their parents. They passed away, and I believe it was like, I don't know. I won't say what it was, but anyway, they passed away, and so they had to come back to sell, get everything right, do the funeral, and then sell the house. Well, they had more problems selling the house than they intended. So the house is haunted, and they discover that. And not only is the house haunted, but there's this battle between them and like who's going to get what and all of that. But not only the house is haunted, but there's some hauntings of their past, if you will. So I'm trying to say things without really giving anything away. So the house does not want to be sold, and the house and all things involved are going to make sure that it's not sold. But it also kind of goes back to see that it always has been haunted. So there's always been some hauntings going on. This book is creepy, it's scary, it's disgusting, it's everything that if you are a horror fan that you would want and more. It's gross. It'll have you just questioning everything and everybody. You just start thinking about things. It's really, what I like about Grady Hendrix is that not only does he just have horror, so it's not just a bunch of jump scares or anything like that, but there's always like this deeper meaning behind things. And there's really like, it's more about the haunting of the spirit or something like that, than just the actual things, scary things that are going on. So it makes people have to look at themselves, their lives, their relationships, their families, all of that. But overall, it is a good, solid book. Again, 4 stars. And yeah, I'm glad I'm done with it. But it's a good book. They should make a movie off of this one. And so now this one just goes the total opposite of what I just talked about. This book that I finished is called Just Enough Light for the Step I'm On. And this is by Stormy O'Martian. And this is a Christian book. This is a nonfiction Christian book. And it's kind of like I guess, a devotional or self-help, if you will. And so something that I use to, try to build on my spiritual life. So great to read these types of things and get your spiritual life in order when you're also read scary stuff. But anyway, this book is awesome. I highly recommend it. Maybe, it's some things I might not see the same in terms of how she may interpret the scriptures and stuff, but for the most part, I think that it's good meat, good things to take away from. I got this book in a great time of my life. It took me a long time to get through it, And it helped me, when my dad was very sick and he passed away last year. It helped me with all different things that I've been dealing with in my life besides that. And so it really talks about how you have just enough light for the step that you're on. And sometimes we want to see that whole staircase lit up. But sometimes we're just going to see things one step at a time and just have to trust that in our lives we have just the strength that we need for that moment, and that's all we need to focus on is that moment. And of course it goes a lot deeper, and if you are a believer or a Christian, I highly recommend this book. If you're not, and you just want some practical things to help you deal with life's pressures and to how to deal with things that are overwhelming or what have you, it's a great book to read. So I really enjoyed this one. I'll be reading more of hers. And I also want to add that this is it's like you read different chapters and then there's things to write out in the back. So it's pretty awesome. And then last but not least, I read this book called Monop Love, and this book is by Mia Heintzelman. So if you saw, I believe it was my last video where I talked about my birthday book haul. Was that it? Yeah, my birthday book haul. I had bought this book, and I bought this because I wanted to read Mia's new, I think it's Mia. I'm not sure if it's Mia or Maya. Forgive me if I'm getting it wrong, but I'm going to go with Mia. And I wanted to read this before I read Clued In Christmas, which is a Christmas book that just came out. And this is their companion novel. So it's with I believe it's called the Love and Games series, and there's 3 books. So there's this Monop Love, there's Clued In Christmas, and I think the other one is called Trivialized Pursuit. But anyway, so I wanted to read this before I read Clued In Christmas. I don't think I'm going to get to Trivialized Pursuit though before I read Clued In Christmas, but that's okay. They're a companion, but I understand from the author that you can read them as standalones. And of course, it's a rom-com. It's cute. It's what you would expect from a rom-com. So it's funny, it's light, it's flirty. It has all the elements that you would love. And what makes it different and stand out is it is based on, or it has a theme of games. So it's about 2 people. So it's Harper Sloan. Harper is the woman, and then Declan Wild, he's the man, and they meet, and it's kind of a, what do I want to say, enemies to lovers or rivals to lovers trope. And so they're kind of competing. They're going to be competing in this Monopoly tournament, but also they kind of don't click when they first meet either. So they first meet, and Harper is very independent. She doesn't want any, what feels like a handout, and something that Declan did felt like a handout when they first met. And so they kind of got off on the wrong foot, but then they end up having to be around each other and see each other again because of this tournament, but also because Declan is thinking about moving to San Diego from Las Vegas where he was, because he's thinking about restarting his life there. Some other great things about this book is it really goes into why they're having so much miscommunication, which I love that they delve into that and kind of shows you how our family past and all of that can play a part in our communication, how we see things, how we perceive things, interpret things, and how they can affect our relationships going forward. So that was great. I believe that it's really good on kind of introducing us to the other characters. And if I understand correctly, it's like the other characters will be in the future books. So that's what makes it the companion novel, or the series. And they're a good group of friends and all of that. So it just makes it fun. They're supportive. I love the ending. It's really cute. It gave a lot of kind of a Hallmark Lifetime love-like thing vibe, I guess you would say. So I really like that. But yeah, just a good, cute romance. And so, yeah, that's it for the books that I read. 3 for me is great. So I had, my Christian nonfiction book that I read. I have my rom-com romance, and then I have my horror. And I really enjoyed my reading month. I'm looking forward to what I'll be reading in December and can't wait to share with you what I'll be reading. And I just love to know what you read in November. And if you read any of these books, if you like them, let me know. Talk about it in the chat, or just let me know what you're reading and how you're liking it so far. So with that, I hope that you all will be blessed and be book nerdy.